I misplaced my other glasses, so I've got my backup reading glasses so I can see your comments. I'll do my best to be able to see them. They kind of work. Anyway, can you guys hear me okay? Put a thumbs up in the chat if you guys can hear me okay. This will be kind of a quick one tonight. We won't go too crazy, but I did want to hit a bunch of points that just came in. A lot going on the last week, really, but the last 3 weeks have been very crazy. So what I'm hoping to do is give you guys a little bit of an update of what I'm doing, as well as, I don't know, some thoughts, answer your guys' questions on things too. So put a comment down below in the chat. Caps always helps so I can see it better, but if you've got a question for me, let me know. This is going to be more of a Q&A. I'm going to kind of just jump all over the place, but I'm going to hit a bunch of stuff. So keep me honest, remind me if I don't cover this, but we're going to talk about why cryptos dumped 60% today. If you guys aren't aware of that, you're probably not in cryptos, but there was a flash sell. Dogecoin went down 60%, like in seconds. Okay, we're going to talk about that. That looks like something that's totally stable to put all your money in, right? So we're going to hit that. We're going to talk about gold and silver, what happened to prices. If you guys aren't aware, silver and gold just had its first weekly close above 4,000 and above 50, okay, ever. Now those are nominal numbers, right? That's not necessarily what the adjusted by inflation prices are for CPI, let alone the shadow stats numbers. But I'm going to tell you guys what I've been selling, have I been buying, have I been holding, what I have been doing. I'll give you guys kind of an indication of like how much and where my head is with this, because I've seen a lot of great comments from people, and I've seen a lot of comments from people that seem fearful, and they're kind of freaking out about stuff. So I'm going to talk about that, and I'm also going to talk about, what I'm going to be doing in the next couple weeks too. A lot of people in comments are ready for the price of gold and silver to go down. I think you guys are going to get beat up pretty good, because I don't think it's going down. I think it's going way higher. I've been waiting for it to go down and test the 200-day moving average on both gold and silver. I don't think it's going to happen now, at least not right now. I think we're going to go a lot higher before we go down. And there's a couple factors I want to bring up today and chat with you guys about. There's people in Twitter or X saying that we're going to go down to $15 silver. I don't know what kind of chemicals they're smoking or ingesting, but we're not going down to 15, guys. If you're waiting for us to go down to 15, in my opinion, you're gonna miss everything, and you're gonna be in a huge world of hurt. We'll also talk a little bit about the big refineries not buying back any more silver bullion. They're buying Eagles, but they'll buy other sovereigns. That's it right now. I've got some speculation on that we'll kind of hit. Maybe you guys will have some ideas there too. But here's the reality of all of this stuff. Things are changing. This is not 2000. This is not 1980. It's not 2011. It's 2025, and we're going to hit why that's different. So before we get started, guys, on this format, you double tap the screen, and that gives a thumbs up. That will help the algorithm. That'll allow more people to see this. It'll get shown to more people by YouTube. And I'm not doing this just for my own good. My wife, I do this for a few reasons. One, my wife doesn't want to hear any more about coins. So she said, go make friends. So that's one reason. Number two reason is I come from a banking family. Okay. I feel like I need to fix things a little bit out there. Fractional reserve lending, the more I learn about it, the more I understand banking, the more I realize it's just not a good thing. Now, my grandfather started a bank not because he wanted to be greedy and make a bunch of money. He started a bank because he couldn't get loans for his real estate projects. So he went into the savings and loan business versus an actual bank, because those were real institutions that were giving money out to mom and pops. And that's what he really set out to do, was to help change the world and help people be able to get the loans they need for their businesses. We are going to see consolidation of banks. We'll get down to probably 7 to 5 total. I would guess that's going to be over the next 20 to 30 years. And right now we're sitting at about 4,500. So a lot of banks have got to consolidate. And when you consolidate, we're going to get to the point where it's going to get super hard to ever get a loan to do something. So everything in finance is about to change. If you guys are not ready for it, you're going to get burned. You're going to get left behind. As always, I'm not giving you guys financial advice. I'm giving you my opinions. I do a lot of research. I've got a master's degree from an Ivy League school. I was being trained to take over my dad's board position at a New York Stock Exchange bank, one of the savings and loans, one of the strongest savings and loans ever. And they wiped them all out. And I think they did it on purpose. So I might even tell you guys a little bit more about that if you guys want to hear the family story. But it's pretty gnarly. I think I'm going to put it in a book one of these days, but I need to do a lot more research on it, have time for it, and I need to do it in a way that I don't get taken out by, you know, the deep state for going into it. But I'm going to have to dig in a lot more to get more of the history of it. Double tap, thumbs up. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We've got killer videos coming out. The Spectres guys liked the video that I did on the baseball this week, so they're going to send out another piece for me to do a quick review on. Hopefully that was fun for you guys. They really do have some really cool coins. I think most of their coins are so crafty is the word to say. They're really cool. You know, I think they're ones that you wouldn't go crazy buying every one of them, but I think they're pretty darn cool to go and buy one that you really like, that tells a story to you. They're fun pieces that you can display, and they always do some great, you know, cases or, you know, displays for them, which is pretty cool. All right, so I am here by the fire, so this is technically a fireside chat. Oh no. That didn't work. You're on my laptop up. Sorry about that. You guys just got whiplash. All right, we're gonna get into the comments here. But this is a fireside chat. There's a fire behind me. You just can't see it as well because I don't have my stand out here. So we got 44 people in here. Let's see what comments you guys have got so far. And then we're gonna hit a bunch of these things. All right. So we got Craig in the house. Welcome, Craig. Silver Shelby Stacker. Thank you for coming. Dennis Snyder. Dealers stop buying 90% temporarily. And I think if you know dealers that have 90%, this is a great time to go negotiate with them and go buy it. That's my opinion, not financial advice. I bought a fair amount of silver in the last couple of weeks. And we'll talk about that too. And I did buy a bunch of constitutional or junk silver. They're not buying, they didn't stop buying because there's no demand for it. There's something else going on. Okay. So do not be worried that there's no cash for silver anymore. No one wants it and freak out over it. That's not what's happening. There's a lot of other crap going on. Okay. Let's see. And yeah, people are freaking out because they don't understand things. Now you have to understand, look, one thing that I bring to the table that's really cool is I've only been stacking since about 2018. And so I'm not jaded by 1980. I'm not jaded by 2011. I'm not jaded by holding on to silver for 45 years and just being really super angry about it and mad that, you know, it hasn't performed. I'm not looking at it like that. I'm someone that's heavily into finance. That comes from a very, very wealthy family. They got totally rug pulled in 2008. But, you know, we're still doing pretty good. So no complaining there. But the reason I say that is there's a lot of knowledge I have. I've done a lot of training. I've done a lot of reading. I'm well read. I'm in the AI space. I've started tech companies before. They didn't all take off, and none of them turned into billion-dollar tech companies, or you probably wouldn't be hearing from me right now. Or maybe I would. Maybe I would be doing a full channel even if I had that. It's probably good some of my tech stuff did not totally take off because the kind of data that I was going to collect. I'm a data guy. I'm an analytics guy. It would have been everything that you eat, and it would have been everything that you do. And I would have had all that data. And if I sold that company to some other company or to China, they'd have all of your data too. And maybe that's not the best thing. Debt is dumb. Yes, I agree with debt being dumb. So let's see. We've got Joey Libs in here. Scorpion Metals, welcome. Chris Newton. Debt is always dumb, guys. I would pay off your debt. If you have debt, get rid of it. If you've got really cheap, low debt, especially if it's on a house, even if it's 3%, if your house is your loan's only 6 or 7 years old, go look at your amortization schedule. You know, you may be paying quite a bit more than 3%. 30-year mortgages are not built for you. They're built for the banks to make a ton of money. They know that you're going to move or refinance within 7 years most of the time. That's how they build them, so you pay almost all of your interest up front. A Big Mac was 79 cents in 1980, yes. So you guys, I hope you're realizing how much manipulation there is in the silver price. And so that's really important to understand, because once you realize that, you realize that it's like a spring that is being held down for so many years. It's going to explode when it explodes, okay? I have had so many comments about silver going to 15 bucks, or we're about to crash down again, like 2011. This isn't 2011. Now, if you're freaked out about silver, you want to get rid of it, message me. I'm buying. I've got people that are buying silver. They're looking for good deals. We'll help you get out of it, okay? Even if the refineries can't do it, we'll help you guys get out of it. Now, it'll be below spot price, but we have to do that in order to resell it. But you know, we'll buy it from you guys. I'm buying silver. I'm not selling it. I think silver is going to skyrocket here real soon. So why would I get rid of something that I think is going to go way up? I don't think we're going to go back down and test those lows right now, guys. There's so much momentum and you know, there's so much desire. Retail's not doing it, and that's okay. This country's dumb. People just don't go out and buy stuff. Double tap, hit that thumbs up again, and also the subscribe if you guys haven't done that yet. Silver Shelby Stacker. Yeah, I need to get my car paid off. Yeah, cars are good. Just remember, car loans are simple interest. So you're just going to be paying the same amount of interest every month. And so, you know, it doesn't really make a difference whether you pay it off now or later, as far as how much you're going to pay in interest as a percentage of the total loan. But you will be paying interest as long as you still have the loan. So I think getting out of debt is good. However, if you do have low financing and it's fixed, you know, I wouldn't want you to go sell all your silver or gold so you could pay your loans off. I think you need the silver and gold, okay? On the flip side, I wouldn't go get a loan on your car to go buy silver and gold, okay? You always want to have more underlying assets than your debt so that you can go sell it. But you have to understand that sometimes your assets are going to have to take a hit when you go to do that. I don't know, maybe I can hit that more on another subject for you guys too. Let's see. We've got K King. Yankee Stacking is in the house somewhere. Maybe he is. He might be lurking, but maybe he's already getting his beauty rest. We'll see if he shows up. Scorpion Metals. Thank you. And we've got 12 likes, 43 people watching, but now it's higher. We've got 69 people watching, 25 thumbs up. Just double tap the screen, guys, as you come in. This format's interesting because we get different kinds of people to watch this. So like I said at the beginning here, I started this for a few reasons. One, my wife didn't want to hear any more about coins. Two, my family is a banking family, and so I felt like I need to give back to the community and educate people, because a lot of the damage that's been done has been done by banking, big pharma, and high tech, okay? I'm kind of involved in at least two of those three. Number three, I want to help you guys. I've had a blessed life. I want to be able to help teach you guys what's going on. I want you to see what I'm seeing. You guys may be watching a lot of stacking channels like mine. I don't watch stacking channels. I watch finance channels. I watch channels that are talking about where the markets are going. That's what I'm concerned about. I don't care about stacking as much because I already know how to do that, and that's what I put out on my channel. I don't need to go watch all of that. I'm watching mostly channels that are interviewing people, so that I can bring some new news to you guys that's different than what you're hearing from all the other channels. And I do my best to do that, but I live a crazy busy life. I've got 3 kids and a beautiful wife, and then I've got a very high demanding day job that takes a lot of time. And then I've got some health issues that burn me out too. So with all of that combined, it can get very difficult to try to, you know, bring as much as I could bring. And so I do feel bad sometimes with that. Keep hitting that the thumbs up, guys. Just double tap the screen. We're up to 96 people watching and 41 thumbs up. If we get to 100 thumbs up here while I'm live, we'll do a silver giveaway. Now I'm hoping that we can start doing a lot more silver giveaways, guys. I've just got to get, I'm in the process of working with a couple companies to do some more sponsorships for the channel. So hopefully, I would say sometime in October to November, I'm hoping I'll have someone that sponsors the live streams where we can give more silver away. That's how Yankee Stacking does it. I'm also working with a couple other companies to do some sponsorships on videos and just run some ads here and there. These aren't to try to get rich. I make great money already. If it can add to my stack, that's wonderful, but it helps cover things so we can do more things with the channel. We can go visit more places. We can offer more things to you guys. That's really what I want to help is it's building the community. JM Unleashed, welcome, number 17. Let's see, we've got David Peak. He welcomes himself to the chat habitat. Okay, I don't know what that means. That's funny though. Silver Shelby Stacker, he's saying, hopefully we have a good weekend. So I'm going to talk about my weekend a little bit too. If any of you guys are going to be at Disneyland, I'm going to be at Disneyland tomorrow. Most of you are probably too far away. And some of you probably hate Disneyland. You don't like it, but it's something that my family does enjoy going to. And I've got 2 daughters that wanted to go with me, so we're going to do it. I will be doing some live streams tomorrow from Disney. They probably won't be super long, but they'll be when I just need a break from walking and standing. But what I want to show you is the crowds there. It's one of my 2 indicators. Costco and Disneyland are my 2 biggest indicators for whether we're in a recession or not. If you guys remind me, I'll hit that too. But I'll be hitting it tomorrow. I'm going to show you guys live what I'm talking about with this indicator, because I put that on my video last Sunday, and excuse me, I got a lot of comments from people saying, hey, there's a bunch of people in the parking lot at Costco. You guys, I get that. That's not the indicator is not just looking at the parking. It was a part of the indicator, right? The indicator is how much money are people spending at Costco and how many goods are they getting compared to what they got back in like 2018, 2019. And here's the deal. Look at anybody's shopping cart that you see it. How many of them have a TV, a 4K TV? How many of them have new laptops, iPads, Apple Watches, other expensive electronics, printers? How many people have that kind of stuff in there? How much clothes are going into the shopping cart? Do you see anybody buying the $6,000 pinball machine that's Star Wars that's totally sick that I like to go play at Costco? It's really fun. Got up to 3 balls on there, which is pretty good. I like pinball. Do you see a lot of people shoes in their baskets? You don't. Do you see the baskets full to the top? How many people do you see pushing flatbed carts at Costco with a bunch of supplies on them? You don't. So think through it a little bit. What you're going to notice with that is people are spending more money on fewer goods, and most of what they're buying is food. It's consumables, okay? I'm not seeing a ton of alcohol in people's carts either, except for a few people that look like they're maybe buying for a party here and there. Disneyland, it used to be that you had to reserve a day to go about a week in advance, and sometimes 2 to 3 weeks in advance, especially for a Saturday. That's not the case. You can buy a ticket right now to go tomorrow. Okay, that hasn't happened in years. Now, they haven't brought their prices down quite yet, so I'm curious to see how busy the park is. I'm going to show you guys that tomorrow, but usually the park starts getting less busy as things get more expensive for people to afford. And then you start to see Disney come out with special passes. And I know they're coming out with one for Southern California on January 1st, which is going to be 3 days for about $350 park hopper. Why is that important? Well, it's a discount. They don't give discounts if they don't have to. Disney is no longer about the family experience. It's about profitability and making money. They say that. It's all about shareholder value being returned. Walt Disney would be turning in his grave. But one of these days, maybe they'll fix that. Maybe they'll be less evil. I hope. But you can still go and enjoy it and have a good time with the family. So that's my recession indicators. I'm not saying we're in a massive, big recession. I think we've been in a recession to some degree. But I think what we're really seeing is called stagflation. What you're seeing is that things are super expensive. We're still spending. We're seeing GDP go up. But what's happening is you're starting to see the amount of goods people are buying is lower. The satisfaction's lower. People are working 2 or 3 jobs. This is basically a second job for me doing this channel. You're also seeing people, adding up and piling on more credit card debt. Okay, there's a ton of credit card debt. Student loans are up. Car loans are up. Home loans are up. Debt on America is massive. And I was working with AI earlier this week to get a lot of those stats. I can't pull them up well, maybe I can. I will try to pull them up on my computer that's next to me here. So I'll see if I can pull some of that up for us. Actually, let me Let me see if I can do that real quick, and then I'll finish welcoming you guys. I'm sorry. It's going to take a little bit of time, but yeah, this could be good. Okay, let's do this. How do I get back? I did the wrong one. Just a second, guys. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay, let's see. Maybe Grok did not save it, which is too bad. We had a really good conversation going. Okay, I guess I can't pull it up. I'll get to that in a little bit. All right, let's see. We've got, so Joey Libs, we're going to go back a little bit to the conversation here. The smelter's really not accepting 90%. So I don't know. I haven't called him personally, but there are several videos I watched today. And I don't normally watch these videos, but I did watch them today because of what I heard about. But they're not accepting silver bars that are generic. So think of, your 1 ounce, your 10 ounce, your kilo, and your 100-ounce bars. They're not accepting those right now. They're not accepting buffaloes, generic silver buffaloes, or any kind of generic coin. And they're not accepting 90% silver. So the only thing they're accepting right now is silver eagles, Britannias, maple leafs, the sovereign coins. They have money, and people are still buying all this silver. There's a massive amount of demand for it. But something's happening there. I personally think what's happening, and I saw this in the video, and I did put a post to this, but on X. And if you guys want to see a lot of my posts, I do a lot more posts on X because that's the format for it versus the format for YouTube. Double tap the screen if you guys are just jumping on. That'll give a thumbs up and wake up more people to the truth, and we can help them out. So I think what's happening is I think we have sent so many of our munitions over to Ukraine to be used, and to Israel over the last couple of years, that we're low on a lot of our missiles, including our cruise missiles. And in every Tomahawk missile, which is a cruise missile, Andy Scheckman has a reliable source that he doesn't share the name of, but says, trust me on that, has a silver, a silver monster box worth of silver in the warhead of those missiles. One, those things have got to be heavy if it's got that much silver in there. And two, that's a lot of silver that needs to go into something. I think what we're seeing right now is we're seeing some industry and probably governments trying to jockey and negotiate some price of what's going on with silver. And I think that might be happening. It's a theory that I heard on another video, and I think it could be, valid. I don't know for sure, but I would not freak out thinking that no one wants to buy silver anymore and no one wants it. Okay, guys, it is so undervalued. A year from now, you're going to wish you could buy it at 50. Okay, in 2 years from now, you're going to probably wish you could buy it 100. Okay, I don't have a crystal ball, not financial advice, but that's what I think's happening. I'm going to tell you what I did the last couple weeks too, so that you guys can understand. We got OC Stacker in the house. He just got home from vacation, so now he is ready to have fun because he's all charged up. ABC. Hi from La Mesa, San Diego. When do you think wealthy families will enter the precious metal market? At $100 is my guess. Right now, you have very, very few people buying precious metals. And, let's define wealthy for a second here. I think what you're seeing right now is you're seeing countries buying and central banks buying, okay? And it's kind of the same thing. I think you're seeing industry buying it. I'm sure Elon Musk is going, I need a ton of silver for my new robots that are coming out, for his solar panel company, and for his battery company, and for his EVs. So I wouldn't be surprised if we find out he buys a silver mine. Maybe he'll buy some refineries. I don't know, but I'm sure he's up to something. We'll find out at some point. But that's who's buying, and then it's us crazy stackers that are buying. Okay, most people are not buying. They're not really thinking about it. Now, the stacker community has been growing a little bit. I don't have any stats on it. The number I've heard, I think it was from Jim Rickards, was 0.5% of U.S. adults are stackers out there. So there's a few million people in the US that do that. But then I've also heard another stat that says about 10% of the country has gold or silver. And that goes beyond just like a wedding ring or like earrings. So, if I take those two numbers there, I think if I extrapolate a little bit, I think there's 10% of the households have some form of gold and silver. Maybe it's in sterling silver or silverware. But only 0.5% of adults are actually actively stacking and adding to it. But here's the question I'll throw out there. When the wealthy families do show up and it goes from 0.5% to 1%, that means there could potentially be twice the demand. Okay, maybe it won't be quite twice. And when we go from 1% to 2%, more demand, right? That's a doubling again. So those are two doublings. And then when you go from 2 to 4, it's another doubling. And then you've got from 4 to 8, another doubling, right, of that new demand. Prices are going to continue to skyrocket, and it's going to be hard to find it. So I'm kind of of the belief that I'm going to continue to stack, and I don't care what the price is so much. I mean, obviously, I don't just buy whatever, but I'm looking for deals that are out there, and I buy when I get a good deal. And when I don't get a good deal, I don't buy it. And I do try to look for dips. I do try to dollar cost average, meaning I don't buy it all on one day. But I don't go crazy trying to dollar cost average where I take, if I got $10,000 to spend right now, I don't take that and try to spread it out over 2 years. I think that's crazy. The dollar's losing too much value. But I might spread, a $10,000 that I have right now, for example, I may go and spend that, over a month or 2-month period of time. So, I do recommend looking at those kind of strategies. So anything you guys hear on here is not financial advice. It's just my ideas and thoughts. Double tap the screen to get the thumbs up going. Let's get to 100. We'll do some silver. If you guys won silver last week, or even 2 weeks ago, I need to get that out this next week. They will come. It does take us time to get stuff out. We're really busy. One of the reasons I don't give a lot of stuff away is it's just super hard for me to mail it. I've got to get your address. I've got to get all that information into a spreadsheet. I've got to get the label. It just takes a lot of time I don't really have. I don't have a Mrs. Yankee. I've got a Mrs. Surfer, but she is disconnected from this stuff. So I don't get any help in that area. But okay, let me go back to ABC's question. So he's in San Diego. When are the wealthy families going to start jumping in here? All right, let's say a couple things have just started happening in a catalyst. Okay, you have got Goldman Sachs came out. Or let me start back with BlackRock. Last year, they came out and recommended to all of their brokers that you should have 1% in gold and silver. This year, they came out and said 2%. And then you've got Goldman Sachs has come out, and I believe it's 7% of your portfolio should be in gold and silver. And then you had Morgan Stanley come out and say 20%. So I believe the wealthy families will start coming out as soon as they start seeing a lot more recommendations from their advisors, because a lot of wealthy families are very tied into financial planners and financial advisors. They're going to wait for them to recommend that. Now, here's the trick, though. Most of these people, when they get that recommendation, they're going to go buy the ETFs. They're going to buy SLV and GLD. That's the paper stuff. That's where we have like 360 or 370 fake ounces of silver to 1 real ounce of silver. And I want to say it's around 160 fake ounces of gold to every 1 real ounce gold. That's what they're going to buy, a lot of them. And that's not the good stuff. You want the physical stuff. Now, the smart wealthy families, I think they're going to dive into pre-33 gold, and they're going to go for rare coins for a couple of reasons. One, it's exempt for any kind of confiscation that we could end up having. And those of you that say there's not going to be confiscation, I will argue you until I'm blue in the face, and I will probably win the argument that it's still very viable. I wouldn't count it out. And I'm not talking about coming to your house and taking it. I'm talking about taxation, and I'm talking about taking it from the bullion vaults and banks and the IRAs. Okay, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. That doesn't mean you can't vault. You need to make sure it's very private, it's very secure, and it's very vetted if you're going to do that. What I'm talking about is it's very safe, and people believe it to be safe. Okay, whether it happens or not is not super important. It's the concept of could it happen or not. And I think most channels do a massive disservice to you guys by claiming that there'll never be a confiscation. I think that's total crap. And that's some of my good friends too. But I think they're missing it. And when I call them out on it privately, they go, okay, yeah, maybe that could happen. All right, so it could happen. Now, with that said, I have bullion. I have a lot more bullion than I do pre-33, okay? So it's part of a strategy. I don't go and dump everything and go into that, okay? Don't do anything extreme. But wealthy families will look at that. The other thing wealthy families look at is they can have a coin that's worth $100,000, so they don't have to go and stockpile these big, huge bars and, you know, have a ton of, you know, metal there. They can have a few coins. But you got to also realize once you start getting over $10,000 for a quarter ounce of gold, and even though it might be rare and old, it could take you a year or 2 years to sell that stuff. Okay, so you need a strategy. You don't just go and buy one thing, okay? So I'll kind of leave it at that. Hit the thumbs up, guys. Just double tap. So when are they going to do it? My guess is when you start to see gold go over 5,000 and when you start to see silver go over $100. I think that's when the wealthy families are going to start jumping in. Right now, you've got billionaires in, and stackers, central banks, and in some countries doing it. Once you hit 100 on silver, once you hit 5,000 in gold, I think that will hit headlines. And I think you're going to start to see more wealthy people jumping into it. And they're going to be trying to figure out what to do. Some of them will move into the physical, and some of them will keep it into paper. When they hit into the physical markets, they're not just going to be buying a little bit. They'll be buying probably kilo bars, monster boxes, things like that. So if you have desires for those, when you start to see those prices, I think you're going to need to jump on it. You can't find a monster box right now of backdated silver eagles anywhere except for eBay is the only place I've seen it. And they're asking now $29,000 to $30,000 for a silver eagle monster box. Insane. Hopefully that'll help ABC. Let's see. I don't know what the 10% is. Joey Libs, hi. And yeah, if you're talking super wealthy families like JM, and I know I'm way behind the chat, guys. I'll start going faster on it. I think the super wealthy families, okay, so let's say families that have $1 billion or more, most of them have gold and silver, okay? When you're talking about families that have over $100 million in wealth, they usually have gold and silver. When I'm thinking of wealthy, I'm thinking of a family that probably has anywhere from $3 to $50 million. They don't. A lot of those people do not have gold and silver. It's just not what they've done. Hey, JT Coins, what's up? We got some points, and I don't even know what we do with that, but that's really cool. Thank you. Elon Musk has to buy a lot. Yes, Shane O'Donnell. I don't think they can keep suppressing it anymore. And I've seen a theory out there, which is the BRICS want it higher. They've bought their gold and silver, and they don't want the United States to get in. They don't want the West to get in. And so if they can let these prices run, the West has to buy it much higher. That could be happening. So that's another thing to be kind of watching out for. Silver, Shelby Stacker, why would you get rid of real money? Yeah, exactly, guys. Do you really want to go into fiat? I don't think so. Polo Sport, welcome. Well, now we got like a spice latte coming in here, coffee. That's pretty cool. All right, let's see what we got here. Industrial demand, it will continue to drive it. Yep, I agree with that. Colorado silver. Silver has encapsulated my labor, converting it into time. That's true, and it stores that energy for you. Let's see. So, B Von B, I did order a Navy Privy Silver Eagle today. And I also just picked up my Army Silver Eagle Privy, 250-year Privy, from Tangible Investments. I had them graded. OC Stacker took them down for me. I will do a video this week with that coin and 2 other coins I took in to have graded. One of them's gold, 2 of them are silver. And 2 of them came back MS-70, and 1 of them came back as a MS-69. I hate that. It's like a waste of money. No one wants to buy a 69 coin. Anyway, we're gonna do a video on that to see what you guys think. We'll do a poll on it too, and I'll take pictures of the coins so you guys can see them. But I did order that today. Hopefully it comes. My last one they canceled, and I ordered a second one. My wife's name, that one did show up. Yeah, so the backwardation that Jeff Wrinkles is talking about, what do you think about COMEX being 250 below Kitco? Um, I think what's happening is you're starting to see a kind of a shift going on of massive demand for physical silver. Okay. Like I said, I do not think the physical silver is high. Like they stopped buying at the refineries because they have no buyers for it. I don't think that's the case. They may be completely backed up and they can't make the bars fast enough to replenish the COMEX. Okay. They're making the 1,000 ounce bars. They may also have issues where maybe governments or industries coming in and asking for a lot of silver and they want it at a certain price. So they may be holding off on buying to try to stop the price and keep it from rising. Okay. Some kind of shenanigans are going on. It's not that silver demand's gone away. We're still about like 5.5 years in arrears on what we pull out of the ground versus what we use. Okay. So there's a massive demand for it, and there's not enough of it around there for, excuse me, the uses. Now, retail keeps unloading it because I guess people have PTSD from 2011 and also from 1980. I don't know why you'd be selling silver right now. Um, I could see you selling gold and moving into silver with the GSR being over 80. I could see you selling particular gold coins like the ones I'll show you on another video this week, because you can make 1,000 or 2,000 bucks arbitrage flipping it. I could see that. Otherwise, I don't think so. But I think that's what's happening. There's more demand for the physical than there is for the paper at the moment. Space Cowboy, welcome. Linda, hey, what's up? Tuli, welcome in the house. Let's see. Marion, North Carolina, welcome. Jack Galman. Calilio. I don't know if I said that right. I'm so sorry. One thing that I have a really hard time with is spelling. I might have gotten a master's degree from an Ivy League school, but I can't spell worth crap without like a cell phone. I am so dead. I just cannot do it. I'm challenged. So good luck on me learning a second language. That's probably not going to happen. Yeah, if you guys are seeing my phone blurring, it's probably just bandwidth. There's like horrible bandwidth issues here right now. If it gets really bad, let me know, and we'll have to try to fix it. All right, let's see what else we got from you guys. Yeah, I like pinball. Pinball's fun. Okay, we've got Kelio. I don't know how I'm saying it. I'm sorry. What's the consensus? We getting to 4,500 gold and 60 silver by the end of the year? So I'll tell you what I think is going to happen now that we've closed above 40 for the week and we've closed above 50 for the week on silver. I believe you're going to see silver. First off, gold. I think you're going to see gold go up to somewhere between $4,500 and $5,000 before the end of the year. I think you're going to see silver get somewhere in the $60 to $75 range. If we get onto the higher numbers of those ranges, I do think you're going to see a pretty good profit-taking period of time, at least on paper. So the paper ETFs and miners, I think you're going to see them come down. If it goes up that high, that fast, we only have a few months left of the year, I do think you're going to see a major pullback, and then we'll see consolidation for several months. If we go slower and we don't hit those numbers and we get something that looks more like a 4,200, 4,300, and maybe we only get up to like a $58 on silver, we may not have to have a big crash, and you may just see a little bit of a correction back down to say 50 and 4,000. You go up to those bigger numbers, you could have a lot of profit taking, and then what happens is people like us freak out and we start looking at it going, oh my gosh, it's going back down to 15 and it's going back down to 1,500, and you need to hurry and unload. Don't do that. It's going a lot higher. Go look at the TA, technical analysis stuff. Go look at this 45-year cup and handle. We've just now completed that. So what's going to happen is silver is going to run up. Okay, historically speaking, and based on how charts work, it should be running up, I should say, and then it's going to come back down and test 50 and bounce off of it, and then you're off to the races. I've got several charts that are out there that are showing that based on how deep that cup is, we're looking at somewhere between $300 and $600 silver, okay, in this bull market. So if you're that worried about selling silver at 50 because you think it's going down to 15, but you're giving up the opportunity for $300 to $600 silver, you need to ask yourself if that's a good decision. Maybe you don't do, a huge percentage of it. But if you got PTSD, you might need to do it for your counseling. So, but not financial advice, guys. Don't make a decision based on me. It just helps you give you some information to go do more research, and then you make your own decisions. Go ahead and double tap the screen, guys. That does the thumbs up. M2 money supply is stupid. It's so high, guys. So let me just point out why I don't think we're going down to 15 bucks. And maybe I'll put a video out on this too. Okay, number one, we've printed basically 33% of all the US dollars that have ever existed have been printed in the last 5 years, okay? So the M2 money supply has gone up by $18 trillion. Okay, that's ridiculous and stupid. I can't believe they did it. I'm sure some of us got benefits of that. I got a little bit, not much. I was fully employed, and so I didn't qualify for a lot of the stimulus stuff. But and a lot of people took the personal loans that didn't need them, but they did it anyway. All that money went into the system, okay? So you have that. The other thing you've got going into it is, as far as why I don't think the silver price is going to go down, it's being used way more heavily by industry, okay? You've got solar panels, batteries, we've got the new car batteries coming out from Samsung. I don't know when they start production of those, but those have a kilo of silver in them. The other thing we're going to be running into is robots, okay? They want to put a robot in everybody's house over the next decade or two. I'm sure there's a bunch of silver in those things. And then you've got warheads. I don't think we're going into a massive time of peace. I think we're going into a time of updating weapon systems and getting ready for war. So I think you're going to see a lot of silver going that way too. We're going to start seeing people waking up as inflation starts to go higher and higher and higher. You're going to see people waking up and deciding, hey, I want some silver, I want some gold. They'll probably flock to gold first, but as gold gets up to that $5,000 and then $10,000 and then $15,000 mark, it's going to become harder and harder for people to buy it, and they'll go to silver. So that's what I think is going to happen here. I do think it's possible 4,500 and 60 to 70 silver. However, depending on how fast we do it and how high we go, we could have more of a correction at that point. I'm not waiting for a correction right now. I've been buying silver, and I'll tell you guys that in just a second here. I don't think the government shutdown's affecting silver at all. Personally, I don't think it's affecting gold at all. I don't think the war in Israel or the war in Ukraine is really affecting gold and silver prices on their own, just based on us being in a war. I think it could affect demand by having more demand for those metals, but I don't think it's really affecting the spot price either. When we go to war or we declare peace, you're going to see the metals move up and down for a week or two, and then it's going to stabilize, and it'll be kind of like it didn't do anything. Double tap the screen, guys. Let's get us up over 100 here. We'll do a silver giveaway. Yeah, people are waking up. Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon. So I was thinking about this. You guys tell me in the comments if I should do this. So I was thinking about giving away some gold if we can get the channel to, what was I going to do here? If we can get to the channel to, okay. If we can get to 17,000 subscribers by the end of December of this year, I'm looking to do a gold giveaway, and I don't mean just a dumb gold giveaway. We'll probably do like a really cool 10th ounce coin. So the key is I can't do this on my own, so don't get too excited about this yet. There's nothing I'm going to be able to do that's going to get me to 17,000. I've been, going crazy trying to grow this channel, and every once in a while the algorithm picks up a video and does it. For us to get to 17,000, that's going to take you guys trying to help the channel get to that by introducing more people to the channel, by getting more people to subscribe and all of that. It's not an easy task, but if that's something you guys are interested in, you're up for the challenge of trying to help the channel grow by introducing it to more people. And it also comes down to watching more of the content, because that's how it helps the algorithms. I'd be willing to throw in some gold for that versus me going and paying some kind of marketing person to try to promote this. I'd rather give it to you guys. If you have interest in that, put gold 10th ounce, yes, if you guys are willing to go out there and help promote it. But it's going to take a community to help us get to that. Sometimes I have 500 new subs in a month. Sometimes we have 1,000, and other times I get like 30. in a month. And so I think we've had several months where we've only had 30 or 40 new people, and it's just a grind. We've had other months where we've had 5, 6, 700, 1,000 people. If I go back to last year in May, we had months where we had 1,500 to 2,000 new subs. So anyway, if you guys can help me do that, I'm willing to do some fun gold giveaways. And what I would probably do is one of the Toro 10th ounces from Spain. I think I'm the only guy on eBay that has those and the Lynxes right now. All right, we're going to go a little forward here. They're also not buying sterling silver. That was another one I forgot to mention. They're not buying that stuff. So OC Stacker, they're not buying any more silver to be refined. So you're going to have to hold on to any stuff you've got. Yeah, gold futures are lower than the spot price. That's kind of funky. Or at least silver is. I don't know where gold is. Okay, let's see what else we got in here from you guys. We got Bama Girl in here and Barbara Wall, welcome. Unfathomable, buy, stack, hold, don't sell. What do I think about platinum? Ooh, I bought a bunch of platinum last week. I probably shouldn't tell you how much platinum I bought, though. My wife's a little nervous. Not that I bought it, but about telling people what we bought. Just like you show your face, you can't really tell people what you actually bought. So I would love to do a full stack video for you guys, but then I would have to cut my face off and melt it and reform it. And I'd have to change my voice and my name. That's the criteria for my wife. All right, let's see what else you guys. So we've got Mark Petty in the house too. Are we going to experience the biggest one? Okay, let's talk about this for a second. If any of you guys are in crypto, I saw the crypto starting to go down, and I was like, I don't even know why I bought some of this crap. I bought it like last week, and I was already down like 5 or 10% on a few of these, and it wasn't a lot of money, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to sell out of it. Maybe we'll just put more money into the miners. And I sold that, and then I went back like an hour later after I got my haircut, and they had dropped. They were down about 10%, right? They dropped down 60%. A bunch of the cryptos. So something happened with a tweet from Trump and something about China. I don't know the details, but it was enough to cause the bots and the algorithms to just go nuts. And they dumped crypto 60%, okay? And then it came back up. If you had stop losses in there, you got wrecked. You sold it way low, and then the price went above it. That's the problem with stop losses. It's a problem with trading, especially the crypto stuff. It can jump so much up and down. A bunch of people got wrecked on that, unfortunately. Other people that had a bunch of buys in really low probably fared out okay. You just got to be careful with that stuff. But as far as silver going crazy, it's never going to do that. At least I don't think it's going to do that. I don't think you're going to have a day where silver doubles in price in one day. But I think what's coming is multiple dollar days. So what could we have next week? Could we have it go from 50 up to 52 or 53 bucks next week? Yeah, we could. We could see it maybe even go to 55. I mean, it's hard to believe that, but that could happen. I mean, yesterday we saw it go up almost $2 in one day. So that was pretty substantial. Gold, we're starting to see gold going up 50 bucks, $100 a day, right? We've had days that do that. So with gold, could we see it going up 200 or 300 bucks in a day? If we do, I think we got a little bit of time before it does that kind of a move. There really isn't any massive FOMO going in from retail buying that's helping drive that up. We're also not at a point where there's euphoria is not the right word, and it's not necessarily FOMO, but it's kind of that fear indicator where everybody is just really excited about hitting it. Okay, so we'll do a silver giveaway here in a few minutes. All right, tokenization. Okay, let me hit that real quick. So Jake's Custom Parts. So I believe that tokenization is going to lead to bad things way down the road. In the short term, it could be really good for some people. But tokenization would basically be taking like your home or your car And instead of just getting a home loan with a bank, you're actually going to be getting you're basically going to tokenize your house, and your house would be divided into something like, say, 10 million different parts. And, they're not going to be specified. It's not like you're buying the phone in your house. But the tokenization is going to be a way to fractionalize your home so that you can borrow against it or use it as money, if that makes sense. So I'll just use round numbers. Let's say your house is worth $100,000 and it's paid off. If you go and tokenize your house, you'd basically be able to get down to some denomination. I don't know what it's going to end up being, whether it's $100 or if it's $10, but you'd be able to use that for a cruise. So it'd be kind of like a reverse mortgage. You can go out and use, $50,000 of your house without having to go get a line of credit. It'd kind of feel like a line of credit, and you could use that. And on the flip side, if you're an investor and you're looking for these, instead of going and buying a house for $100,000 and dealing with the headache of everything, you've got a guy over here that wants $50,000 and you get a portion of his house. His house is paid off, and you get to put on the first kind of lien position, so to speak, with the tokenization. Okay, I'm using terms that aren't exactly correct, but they might make more sense if you guys understand loans, how they work. And now I've got the ability to put in $50,000 to potentially get a $100,000 house, as an example, and the homeowner could pay it off and all these things. The problem with it is I think it's going to lead to credit being too easy, and I think people are going to lose things. And I think this is one of those plans from the WEF, the World Economic Forum, to make it so you own nothing and you're happy. I think it's going to lead to more bad things than good things, and it's just another mechanism along with stable coins to try to make it so that we can kick the can of debt down the street longer. I think it's going to break. I don't think we've got decades left of the dollar before it totally becomes worthless. We're down to 3 pennies right now of total value of the original dollar, but know that you can get into fractions of pennies, okay? Because we can get to the point where you're buying a pizza for, $1,000. We're not there yet. So I do think we're going to see a reset financially before that, before we get to it hyperinflation. I don't think we're going to go the way of Venezuela, but I think tokenization is a way for them to try to, postpone that. Okay, let's see. This totally reset all my comments. So, yep, Yankee is in here. He has been sneaking around. All right, let's see. Give the MS-69 away. Okay, maybe. We'll see about that. That might be kind of fun. All right, let's see here. Bubbles is here. Bubbles. I don't know where he even got that nickname. I know you guys like calling Yankee Bubbles, though. So, okay, let's talk about this for a second. SD Bullion is asking 4,400 for a gold buffalo. Okay, well, they're not asking that for fun. They're asking that because that's the demand for it. You guys are going to start to see premiums go up higher for the coins people want the most. And what I'm noticing right now is people are really into the buffaloes and they're really into the silver eagles. And so I'm starting to see the premiums going up for those coins. To be honest, if you're looking at $4,400 for a buffalo and you can go and buy, say, a Krugerrand for $4,100, you really do need to ask yourself, is it worth $300 more to have a buffalo? And maybe that's the case if you believe that they're going to make buffaloes tax exempt and Krugerrands not. So say U.S. gold. But if you don't believe that, that's quite a bit more to pay for a premium. I have a hard time paying more than a $50 premium for a coin when it's just straight bullion. But I do like the buffaloes. I like the 24 karat silver gold better. I mean, yeah, China is definitely sucking up a lot of our stuff. Now, yes, Hemi. Yes, it's a Hemi. 69s are great to buy. They're not great to receive after you've just paid a grading fee for it, right? I've basically wasted like $40 on that coin to try to get it graded. So I got to look and see what the 69 is selling for. I've got to decide if I want to keep it. I've got to decide if I want to crack it out. But when you get a 70, it can be really good. It can up your value by hundreds of dollars. So it just depends. Buyers are starting to outnumber sellers at Tim's shop. This is from Yankee. FOMO is setting in. New stackers entering the ranks. So here, how do you guys stay away from being in FOMO? Okay, here's the deal. If you feel something down in your gut and it's starting to feel like fear of missing out, okay, that's the definition of FOMO. Okay, that's what that means. You can feel it in your gut that if you don't hurry and go buy some silver right now or gold, you're going to miss out and everything's going to be over, and you feel your heart palpitating and your heart rate's going up. You're having FOMO, okay? Chill out. Go do something else until you can calm down a little bit. If your strategy is, I want to buy a certain amount of gold and silver and I haven't gotten to that goal yet, and I'm a little concerned that the product I might want to buy, like Silver Eagles, is going to go up a lot in price or it's going to be hard to find, you can adjust your strategy. But if you're going out to just buy because you're afraid that you're going to miss an opportunity, you have to be careful. Now, I bought a fair amount of silver and gold last couple days or a couple weeks, and I had to check myself on that. And for me, my philosophy is when you have the money, I don't like to just leave a bunch of money in the bank. I want to move it into a better asset class, which is gold and silver for me, and paying debt off. And so for me, that's kind of what I decided to do. And I didn't look at it as FOMO. I can feel a change in the air. That's different than FOMO. There is something that's changing. I can feel that there is a different momentum that's going on. And we're in a different time. I don't think this is 2011. We've printed too much money. There's too much debt. I don't think we're just going to see everything drop back down. We will see ups and downs, and we will see some good moves in that area. So I also don't want to go spend all of my money all at once either. I want to kind of dollar cost average it, but I don't want it to be so spread out that you miss massive opportunities and it moves higher. So there's an art to this, guys, just as much as there's kind of a science to it. Hit the subscribe if you haven't done so already. Double tap the screen. That gives thumbs up. We are going to do a silver giveaway in a little bit here. Space Cowboy's asking Cody Hess, you think silver is going to hit 29 bucks? So I will tell you guys, based on the momentum we have going now, I have a hard time believing gold and silver will go below the 200 moving day average. And I actually feel that it's going to go higher first. So I see gold getting closer to 4,500 bucks before it goes back down to test its 200-day moving average. And as of right now, I think that's right around, a little under $3,200. We get into close to $4,500 gold, and it stays there for any period of time. That $3,200 number will continue to rise up. So I think we probably go back and test 3,500 after we go up on this. And I could be wrong, okay? This is just my gut telling me this because the charts are kind of broken in a lot of ways. We should have already tested the 200-day moving average. We didn't. The other thing I'll throw out there too is there's a lot of macro events to watch out for. But when you look at silver, I think silver is going to get up to the $55 to $60 range. And then I think it's going to come back down and test. And my guess is it's probably going to test around 43 bucks. Okay, maybe 45, somewhere in there. So when I look at it right now, and what I was looking at last week is actually 3 weeks ago, I was starting to go and accumulate some more silver and look for it. And I was looking for it at 38 bucks. And we had a bunch of deals lined up. And then it moved to 40 real quick. And I needed to wait for some cash to come in, but we had things locked in. And then all of a sudden, a few of the people got cold feet as we saw the price go to 41 to 42. All those deals fell through. So then I had to go and find a few more deals I was trying to put together in the mid 40s. And that's the kind of where I was able to get, some good product. And I got it either a little bit above spot, at spot, or a couple dollars below spot. And that was on some gold and silver. And I also pulled the lever for platinum, and I bought a pretty substantial amount compared to what I already have. So in some ways, I'm going to mess up my dollar cost averaging in general because it's going to bring the price up. A lot of the stuff was purchased below 2,000 for gold, and a lot of the silver was purchased below, say, $28 for silver. And I'm going to bring those numbers up a little bit. Does it make me a little nervous? It does, but I wanted to get into certain product, and I was able to pick up things before they're sold out, and you can't find them anymore right now. And it's a long-term hold, and I can do it. So for me, I'm just putting it away. I don't have to worry about it. I got a little bit more of what I wanted. You know, I don't see it as FOMO because there was a strategy to it, and you know, um, I wasn't freaking out over it, right? I wasn't emotional about it. I was just, I need to move quickly because things are moving quickly. Um, and I'm probably going to slow down at the moment right now and kind of wait and see how the dust settles. I want to see if it does take off gold and silver like I think it's going to, now that it's had the weekly close above the number indicators I was looking for. But I'll leave it at that. All right, so let's see here. So yeah, with Yankee saying that Tim's shop's going up with more buyers too, I think that's good news. You know, we could have a silver squeeze coming up, guys. It's hard to say for sure. And I don't want to go and encourage everybody to go buy silver to create a squeeze. That's a trader mentality. I don't want a silver squeeze. That just makes the price go up. And if I'm trying to buy stuff and I'm holding it long term, it's dumb. I don't want that to happen. Double tap the screen, guys. Get that thumbs up. Let's get it going. It says refineries. Daniel Felstead's in here. Welcome and thank you. Refineries are 4 weeks backed up. That's not good. So that's kind of crazy. I know someone did a $5 super chat, so thank you. I don't know how to find that in here. All right, we've had a few of them. Let's see. I don't know how to open those up. Is that this? No, those are effects. Oh my gosh. We can, let's see. I think I can become radioactive. How's that? That's so bad about that. All right. I can't find where I see the chat down there. We'll catch up to it. But no more radioactive surfer. That was scary. Okay. Let's see. 51 for me. All right. Yankee says the challenge is if we have a stock market correction, new people interested in precious metals will start bailing on silver and gold ETFs, which are the major reasons for the rising spot price. Yes. So if you guys are invested in mining stocks, you have to understand that they are still stocks and they're still going to be subject to the stock market. So if we do have a major stock market correction, you could have those stocks go down quite a bit. You can have the ETFs go down quite a bit, and we'll see the spot price go down. The difference is, though, when you look at physical, that's where we could start to really see the premiums grow. You know, if Tim buys a monster box of silver eagles at $50 an eagle, and you know, he's selling them at $55 an eagle, and all of a sudden the price of silver were to go down to $30, he's not going to sell those at 30. He's going to still be selling them, you know, around what he paid for it or a little bit above that, right? And so you're going to see the premiums really stretch out. The other thing to realize too with the spot price and with something drastic like the stock market correcting is metals tend to go down slower than a lot of the stocks do. We saw cryptos go down 60% in like 2 seconds. I don't think you're going to see that with silver spot price. A lot of times dealers take 2 weeks to adjust to the new price, and they need to be able to buy replacements and have a margin in it, or they can't do that. So you're going to see things get funky if we have that happen. Now, if we do have that happen, could we get down to $15 silver? A lot of people are saying we're going to hit $15 silver. To get down to $15 silver, I think we've got to have something that looks like the Great Depression and that kind of stock market crash. That's not something we can predict. It's something that could happen, but I also don't think it will be long-lived if it does happen. I think we'll print ourselves out of that one. So if that does happen, we'll have more hyperinflation, which is then going to bring the price back up. That's just my opinion, though. I could be wrong. 29 bucks would be awesome. 10 bucks would be awesome. Okay, here we go. So Jake's Custom Parts, $10. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks, Surfer, and my mod buddies. You guys are awesome. We'll give you a thumbs up on that, too. Yankee says premiums will drop, guys, as prices rise. Dealers can afford to sell older inventory closer to spot. That is true as well, too. So we're going to see premiums go down. If you see a massive crash very quickly, you could see the premiums get stretched, is what I was saying earlier. But as what Yankee's saying, as prices go up, which is the opposite direction, we could see those premiums coming down. However, I would argue it's interesting that we're starting to see the premiums a little higher for the buffaloes, gold buffaloes versus gold eagles versus other sovereign coins. And a lot of this has to do with supply and demand, and it might just be that people aren't bringing in as many of those coins as they have in the past. So, you know, that doesn't necessarily go across the board. That could be for a specific product you got to look at. So I am glitching. Well, that sucks. Sorry, guys. I don't know. The internet's been horrible here the last 3 weeks. It's been hard. Cody Hess agreed. The reason I buy all the time, especially right now, is it might not stop. World demand is up. So we don't have it in the US yet, but in a lot of other countries, you can go on X and see these pictures, guys. There's lines that wrap around the corner of stores. The only one that I know that has lines every day is Tim's shop. And I've experienced it multiple times a couple weeks back. And he's always got a line out the door. So Yankee has very much kept him busy. It's kind of like, it's like a pilgrimage to go to Tim's. So that's really cool. Ethan Melton, gold will drop to 38.90, then we'll jump to 5K in 4 to 5 months. It's possible, guys. It's possible we go down more and then we really jump up. You know, when you look at technical analysis, we'll talk silver for a second. We now have completed a 45-year cup and handle by having $50 close on the weekly. But in order for that to be real, it needs to go up. It needs to come back down and hit around 50 and bounce back up higher. It has to confirm that that level is true and real, okay? Gold has already kind of done that. So that's why I don't think we're going to see gold going back down to 2,800 or 3,000 anymore. Things have changed. The 200-day moving average has gone up. Could it go down to 38.90 and then take off to 5,000? That's possible. It's also possible it goes all the way up towards 5,000 and it has a bigger crash all the way back down to 38.90. So we could have a couple funky things that are happening out there. So it's something to be, you know, watching this channel and other channels to make sure you guys are up to date on it. Yankee brings up another good point. Margin calls cause sell orders in gold and silver ETFs. They do it in everything. So a couple things to be aware of. Michael Saylor, he continues to buy Bitcoin, and he's around 60 to 65,000 per Bitcoin. If you see Bitcoin going below 60,000, I think it's going to margin call a lot of stuff right there. And you're going to start to see his investors pulling their Bitcoin from there and selling it. And I think you're going to see Bitcoin crash. Usually you see things like crypto crash first before the stock market. So that is something to watch for. Stock market and crypto, people leverage themselves because they're doing these things to make money and get rich. So when they have margin calls, they will have their broker call them in the morning and say, hey, you owe me a bunch of money, you need to pay up. And when you have to do that, you have to liquidate something. And to Yankee's point, a lot of times what they'll go liquidate is ETFs. They'll liquidate gold and silver ETFs. They might even liquidate some of their physical gold and silver. It wouldn't be a smart move, but they might do it. And when those things happen, you cause a downward spiral. These things are temporary until you get to a bottom, and then they start to go up. So I wouldn't freak out about all of that, but I do think it's something to be aware of and to watch. And so if you're in the stocks and you're heavily in the stock market, it's something you definitely need to be talking to your financial advisor about and trying to figure out exactly how do we make it work the best. Okay, guys, double tap. I've got 20% on my phone, so we'll keep going until it's a little bit further down, and then we'll do the silver giveaway. So let's do this too. I am way behind, guys, on this. Yeah, Tim's coins and stamps, but don't try to take stamps in there. He's good on stamps. Is my shirt on fire? No, it's not on fire, but it looked like it. Yeah, $15 silver, guys. I just don't think it's going to happen. And if it did, I would probably go sell my car and buy silver, to be honest. And yeah, I think it's dumb, the 2% thing too, with inflation. That's horrible. Okay, F37 metal, stacking surfer. As the silver keeps climbing, fractional silver will come in very handy. A 1 ounce round of silver might be too high. So one thing I will tell you guys is I do have some 100-ounce bars, and I have 10-ounce bars and some kilos. And some of that stuff I bought recently because I got a great price on it. I will be looking to swap out of that for smaller denominations. You really don't want a 1,000-ounce bar ever, in my opinion. And even 100-ounce bars, they're kind of maybe cool to have one or two, but they could be really hard to move, especially when silver gets up to $500, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000. And those are big numbers, but we're going to be going into inflation. over the next couple decades here, if we don't have a reset sooner, I think we're going to be getting to higher numbers. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean it will buy what today buys, but remember that the limits on what's reported to the IRS is still stuck at 10,000 for cash, and so you start getting into a situation where everything's got to be done with checks, and you get other issues. So those are things to be aware of when you have really big bars. Yeah, lots of debt, guys. Okay, I can't even tell how far back I am. So Yankee brings up a good point too. If we have, let's say we have a complete financial meltdown in the markets and we see the Dow go down to 10,000. Okay, for those of you that are in the stock market, that would be a drastic down, even 20,000. Are you going to hold your stocks? Are you going to hold your gold and silver? And one thing I would tell you is if we see a 1929 style crash, typically those take a decade to 2 decades to return back to the all-time highs on stock, not metals. So it's something you've got to have fortitude for. So a couple things I'm going to point out real quick that are really important for you guys. Number one, I always recommend having 3 months worth of cash. Okay. You might keep that in the bank. You might keep it in a safe at home. You might put it into a private safety deposit box. 3 months of cash for expenses. If you have that, you don't have to rush out and sell metals. You don't have to go sell something else to live if you lose your job or if we get into other tough times. If the lights go out for a long period of time, or we get into a civil war, something crazy goes on, cash will still be used for quite a while until people decide it's garbage and they don't want it anymore. So I do recommend that. And these are the minimums, okay? Minimum, I recommend having a month worth of water on hand. Excuse me, especially here in Southern California, it rains like in January, like 3 times. And we don't get any other rain until there's maybe a thunderstorm in July or August. It does not rain here. There's no rivers. Okay, that's not true. There's the LA River that you guys see in all these movies with shopping carts and homeless people living in it. Do you want to drink that? And it rarely has water in it. And we have an ocean that is full of radioactive stuff from Fukushima over in Japan. Even if you could desalinate it, you don't really want to be drinking it. So you got to keep water. You need food storage. I recommend anywhere from 6 months to a year's worth of food storage for your family. Get the stuff that's freeze dried for better tasting stuff. And you can go to Costco. And I have a video that I made 3 years ago. I just need to put out on how to make food storage from Costco for like $30. And it's 20 pounds of rice for $30, and it'll last you 30 years. So maybe I'll put that out this Sunday for you guys. So do that, okay? The other thing is if you're going to have a lot of gold and silver, I don't recommend you having that be much more than 20 to 30% of your investable money. Some people will take their house out of the equation. Some will leave it in there. You don't want everything to be gold and silver. It doesn't earn yield. You may need some income. You may have other types of investments that are out there that are necessary for you. I'm not saying you can't go 100% into it, but if you are going 100% into it, no, you might have to sell it to get into other things. And right now, what if everything you have is constitutional and the altars aren't taking it, thus the coin shops aren't taking it? You can get yourself into trouble. So variety of product is good too. So that's my soapbox. Not financial advice, just ideas. All right. The chat keeps killing me. I guess I'm really slow and way behind. So I'm going to just kind of go forward. Hopefully you guys don't get mad at me. Yankee says, yes, we should give out a 10th ounce of gold. All right. So you guys, I'd love to do that. I have some killer 10th ounce coins that I would give out. And to me, I'd rather give it out to you guys in the community than to, pay to have someone help me market this a little bit more. But what I do need your help with is to share this channel, guys. Hit the subscribe, hit the bell icons, double tap the screen. It's important to get this message out there, and it's hard to always get it out there. I'm not the best at putting the right titles together or the thumbnails, and that's where a lot of the algorithm hits into there because people see those. I'm also trying not to do overly sensational things, okay? I did put $75 silver on my last thumbnail last Sunday, with a question mark, and talked about where do we, where's the silver price and gold price going to go. None of that was just hype. Okay, if you look at the Fibonacci charts, it shows that we're going to go really close to 70 on kind of the top level here, once we pass 50. And so it is possible to hit that, and oftentimes we'll go a little over it before it comes back down. So that's where the 75 comes from. It's not just a made-up number, or me being hopeful. I want it to go down to way lower, like 15, so I can go buy a ton of it. Same with gold. I think gold's going higher, and then it's going to come back down and retrace. But I think we're going to see some choppiness for a while, because these are new numbers, new levels, and the bullion banks do not want us to get too excited. They're going to try to smash it and get you guys scared to dump. So be careful with that. Okay, I'll tell you guys what I bought a little bit here. Okay, so let me go down a little bit more. Yeah, because I'm like way behind. Yankee's probably gone to bed already. He's not even hearing what I'm saying. It's past my bedtime, Tuli says. I'm sorry, guys, this was really late today. Okay, so I'm hearing the LBMA cost to borrow is going really high. Someone said like 30 or 60 today. I didn't believe that. So 10% makes more sense. So yeah, like the house I live in here, I own it. It's a liability, even if it's paid off, guys, because I still have to pay the property taxes on it. And so that's one reason I have gold, is to pay the property taxes. It's like an insurance plan, so to speak. If you can get away with it and your wife will let you do it and your kids are able to handle a rental, you could get into a less expensive home and rent, and put more of your money into precious metals if you wanted to do that. I wouldn't go take a loan out on your house to go buy precious metals. I think that's not a great idea. Unless you're okay with losing the house, should things get kind of crazy. Okay, thank you, Tuli, for coming in. Maybe you'll catch that later. All right, I'm gonna... yeah, Yankee Sneaky, he was in here. All right, let's see. Okay, so we'll hit a couple things on here still. So we're still going to do the silver giveaway. I know you guys are waiting forever. We're going to do that. Okay, so do I play the GSR? I'll tell you how I play the GSR right now. If it's over 80, I buy more silver than I buy gold. Okay, but I buy when I have money. I buy when I see a good deal. And what is a good deal? Well, it's usually below spot price right now. But it just means a price better than if I just went to a retail store to go buy. So it's better than what an LCS would sell it to me at. It's better than what I can get from an online bullion dealer. Sometimes I can get some really good deals from Andy below that, but what I'm trying to do is help people that want cash that are in the community, and I'm trying to get them a better price than if they go sell it to their LCS. In return, I get a better price too. So that's something that we try to do to help people out with. So if you guys ever get in trouble with things, reach out to me or OC Stacker, and we'll vet you guys and see if there's something we can do to help you. It's not a big business we try to turn into. It's more of trying to help the community. That's how I play the GSR. Is if it's above 80, I'm buying more silver than gold. Once we get below 80 to 60, I'm going to start adding more gold into that. Once we get below 50, that's where I'm starting to add more gold. And once we get below, say, 30, and we get to 30 to 10 or 30 to 1, I'm going to be buying pretty much only gold. Now, could we go to 1-to-1 on the ratio? Yes, it could happen. I don't know how it would happen. It could even go backwards, where you're spending more gold coins to get a silver. But that's a world that I don't really understand. It's one that all of a sudden doesn't value money anymore. It only values resources for industry. So that's kind of a funky one. I don't know if we're going to really get there. Could it get super low down to the mining ratio of 8-to-1? It's possible, but I wouldn't go sell all my gold to play that game. Gold has its purpose too. So I don't really do a lot of flipping back and forth. You can do that. where I think that makes a lot more sense is doing things like UPMA, One Gold, or Glint or Kinesis. You know, if you want to have it vaulted where you don't own it individually, you just have the right to bars in a safe. Those premiums are super low. I will be doing some more stuff on UPMA to help you guys get into that if you want to do it. Super, super low premiums on that. You could go buy a bunch of gold or say a bunch of silver right now and easily swap it into gold with very little fees. That's the better way to play this, the gold to silver ratio. Physical, it's a lot more difficult for it because most shops are going to give you a fraction of, well, they'll give you a percentage below what they're buying at, and then you're going to have to pay full retail from them. And so even if we're looking at an 80 GSR, you might only be realizing like a 68 GSR. So it's not as good for you. Let's see. Tim called him Bubbles. Oh gosh, that's why. Okay, I was on that live stream. I just didn't know who started it. I have a really hard time paying $50 an ounce for silver, but I have paid a little over that for Silver Eagles. But most of mine's a lot lower than that. Okay, let's see what else. And I'll tell you guys here in a second what I've got too. I don't wait. I only buy what's available for silver, and the shipping isn't taking me long. I'm getting stuff in a couple days, so I haven't noticed that yet. That was from Mark Petty. SD looks like they're taking longer time, so the big guys may be really getting hit with that. So that tells me that supply is getting harder. Okay, so we've got a super chat from STFU and Stack Silver PMG. Hey Surfer, I won the 5-gram Geiger bar on your 10K sub show. Thank you, brother. I enjoy your videos. Well, you're welcome. No, that was a pretty cool bar, by the way. So I'm glad you like that. Thanks for the super chat. Yeah, maintenance fees at banks are going up, guys, and you have to have a lot more money in hand. So watch out for your fees. Make sure you're not paying them money instead of you making a little interest. You don't make any interest anyway, and they just take that. Double tap the screen if you guys haven't done that so far for the thumbs ups, and then subscribe if you guys haven't done that so far. Barbara Wall, Mark Petty, husband is retired banker, and balance minimums at banks have increased. Yep, that's true too. Okay, F37 metal. My goal for the end of 2025 was 105 ounces of silver. I'm at 81 ounces, so I'm feeling pretty good at where I'm at now. Slow and steady wins the race. Yes. Set goals. Okay, everybody has different goals on this stuff. I've got a friend that has more silver and gold than I could imagine laying my hands on. Okay. And then I know another guy that I've been connected to for several years. That's a billionaire up in Utah. That's younger than I am. Last year he purchased 400 million in gold and $800 million in silver. Okay, guys, and he did it through GLD and SLV, and it stood for delivery. So he's trying to cause a squeeze. He basically had hundreds of 1,000-ounce COMEX bars delivered. I don't know where he put them, but his silver's already doubled, and I think his gold is doubled. So he's gone from, basically having 1.2 billion to like almost, over $2 billion now in precious metals. That's a lot of stuff. That's a big goal for a person, right? But they have a ton of money. I know a lot of other people that are just getting started. They're getting that 1 ounce. They're setting up that. There's no goal that's too small. You can pick up a dime for a few bucks, is a good place to get started. I don't recommend getting into gold until you're into the hundreds of ounces of silver. I think you're going to get much more bigger bang for your buck with silver than you are with gold. So I would stay away from gold until you're into the hundreds of ounces of silver, maybe even 1,000 ounces of silver. And then you can start looking for gold. My other rule of thumb that I always say is, get an ounce of gold for every $50,000 of net worth you have. And that's kind of like wealth insurance. And the reason I say that is that's a good number that is pretty realistic that they may reset the gold to someday. And so then it would cover that value. All right, what else we got here? So Richie Crash says, how many ounces of silver does one need in order to feel like they have enough? Yeah, you never have enough. I mean, I know people that have like 40,000 ounces of silver. Okay, that's a ton of silver. I don't even know where they put all of it. They don't think they have enough. Okay, I can tell you they have enough. That's a lot of silver. Like, and then you got this guy that went and bought $800 million of silver. I don't even know how many ounces that was. It was like, I think on the X post, it was around like 13 million ounces or something of precious metals, including his gold and silver. He's got a lot. I think he's got enough. So I wouldn't ask how much is enough. I would ask, how much do I need to accomplish a certain task? So, like I said, an ounce of gold for every 50,000 net worth. I like $100 face per person in my house of constitutional silver is a good goal to get going with. And if you've already bought a bunch of stuff that's not constitutional, maybe go towards, looking at, that's 71 ounces, 71.5 ounces per family member of silver. So you could get up to 71 ounces of silver rounds. But I like to kind of figure out, what are you trying to do with it? So for me, silver is so I can feed my family after my food supply goes out. Silver is here for me to speculate a little bit. Hopefully it goes up more than gold, and I can increase my wealth potentially and my purchasing power. And then the other thing I look at it for is, I do hope that silver does go way down on the GSR goes way down, and I can turn more silver into gold. I definitely like gold more. It's maybe a little bit more fragile, on the 24 karat side than a silver eagle is. However, I don't know. I think gold's awesome. So how much is enough? There's not really a good answer to that. Some people think it's, 100 ounces, and other people think it's a million ounces. What I would do is I would look at other people in the community that you talk to, and ask them, see what they're putting in there. So I'm going to ask a comment real quick from you guys. If you're still alive, you may have all died already off this channel, and I'm talking to myself. But I think there's 162 of you in here. So put down, how much is enough silver to have, okay? How many ounces of silver is enough? And do me a favor, next to that, put me down for what purpose do you buy silver. I'll ask the same question, how much gold is enough, okay? Is it 10 ounces, 100 ounces of gold? Is it, 100 ounces of silver? Is it 1,000 ounces of silver? What do you guys think? Yeah, more buffering. I know, it's always fun. Yeah, so GVZ, we did see, I haven't watched Vermilion's video, but I did watch another guy that was talking about them, and people in the chat were talking about it. They're not buying the silver right now. I wouldn't freak out about that. I don't think they're not buying because there's no demand. I think they're not buying because I think they're doing deals with governments and industry to backdoor deals to move a bunch of silver. And I think they want to keep the price down for those people. I could be wrong, though. I had cat eyes like that. Oh my gosh. Hey, SPB, how's it going? So OC Stacker in here says 500. I think 500 ounces is great. I think it's a really good goal to get to for silver. Yeah, some of these questions you guys have, we hit early on too. Okay, I'm gonna try to fast forward a little bit. Yeah, so a lot of people aren't even messing with sterling. Okay, so I'll tell you guys a few things here. All right, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Let me see if I can get us kind of caught up, which would be good. Yeah, it closed to 50, guys. You guys are looking at the wrong numbers. It closed. Always go for the ask, not the bid. That's what the dealers are doing. That's what all the shops are doing. It technically closed about 50. 49.89 is on the bid. I'm sorry. You always go off of the ask, not the bid. The ask is $50.01, not 49.89. That was the bid. You guys might argue that with me, but I believe that's what they're also using on the charts. And that's what I've always got to pay when I'm talking to local shops. Thanks, Craig. I know this is going longer than I was hoping, guys, but hey, you guys had a lot of freaking questions for me. One gram is $2. All right. Oh, lots of messages deleted. Someone went crazy. Maybe someone got banned. I don't know. Be nice in the chat, guys. Okay. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys what I have here, and then we're going to do the silver giveaway. I'm sorry it's taking really long. We kind of started this late, too. Okay, let me get caught up, because I'm going to need to do that for us to do the giveaway. So I did buy platinum this last week. So I'll tell you a couple things. I bought silver, I bought gold, I bought platinum. I bought my first sterling silver set. My wife does not think it looks good because it looks like what her grandma would have. But I'm pretty sure all the people during the plague that lived had sterling silver. So in case we have another plague, I thought let's get some sterling silver. Okay. It's a way to diversify. It's a way to have some silver that's kind of in plain sight. And most people aren't going to think too much about it. So I added that. Am I going to go get a bunch of sets? No, that's the one thing I have. And I don't have a bunch of other sterling stuff. 2, I added more eagles. I added more rounds. And one thing that's really cool about some of the rounds, and I'll hopefully get a video out on this, one of the tubes is full of Engelhard prospectors. Those go for a lot more than just spot price of silver. And then I got a lot of really good BU buffaloes, and I got some good vintage other types of coins that I'll have to look up. I don't know too much about. And so that's kind of the fun thing with buying generic silver, is sometimes you get stuff that actually has a pretty high premium on it that most people just don't know about. On the gold front, I picked up some gold from another stacker that was looking to sell, and I was able to get that substantially below 4,000, and I think they got a good price for it as well. And some of those are cool coins that I will hold on to. Others I may move into eagles or buffaloes, and others may have a little bit of a premium on eBay. We'll have to see. But that's what I'm doing. So I added a pretty good amount. I can't tell you guys what I added it or how much or what I have. It's just not, one, it's not appropriate in my opinion to share that kind of level of detail, and 2, it's something that my wife has asked me not to share. So now we're getting into numbers here from you guys. Okay, so we're getting closer. So 5,000 ounces is enough. Okay, so we cut, Jay says 5,000, Space Miner, 100 ounces per person in the home. 100 ounces for Jay. I think he's agreeing to that too. Maybe he meant a different number. Barbara Wall, 1,000 ounces is wealth protection. Steve Bassett, 5,000. Joe Carvey, 10,000 ounces. Cavi. JM Unleashed, 100 ounces of silver should be a minimum goal for everybody. Gen X Silver Stacker, 500 ounces. Jay, 5,000 ounces of silver, 500 ounces of gold. If you have 500 ounces of gold, I think you're doing pretty good. And if you got 5,000 ounces of silver, you're probably way too heavy in gold, but that's okay. Just talking out loud. Everybody's going to be different. Let's see. 1K ounce of silver. If you are fat, then your body weight. How fat? What does fat mean? Overweight? Obese? Oh my gosh. Okay, how about this? If you have to take up 2 seats on an airplane, then do your body weight. Is that what you're telling me? All right. I was skinnier a couple weeks ago, guys. I put on a little bit of weight, so I have to go buy more silver now. Yeah, I think a good, here's a comment from Bandy Labal. I'm not even going to say that right. Sorry, man. 500 ounces help keep you sleep at night. So whatever helps you feel good, like I have enough silver that I feel good at night, I think that's good. If you have too much silver and gold and you can't sleep at night either, well, then I think you should look at vaulting. But, if you're going to do that, let me know. I can give you guys some advice on that, put a video out. All right, so here we got a person weighs 167 pounds. And other people are less, whatever. It's the answer is there's not an answer here. the funny thing is there's going to be some guy in the Midwest that's maybe watching this channel right now that's laughing because they have like 50,000 ounces of silver that they bought at $5 an ounce, and they've been holding on to it forever. They've never really eaten out. They haven't done these big elaborate vacations. They don't own a Ferrari. You know, they've just been stacking forever, and they've got a ton of silver. And those people are going to be the ones that have the last laugh when silver goes skyrocketing and they end up being, you know, 100 millionaires kind of thing. That would crack me up. I'd love to hear a story like that one of these days. And the funny thing is they won't even need the money because they won't know how to use it. It's not part of their, you know, lifestyle. 3,000 silver, 20 gold, 5,000 silver. You guys got a few more in there. 35 ounces of gold. Crickets. I wouldn't store crickets. Those die over time. I don't know what that meant. A 20-ounce dime bag of Mercs. I think Mercs are awesome. I like those. I know you don't get quite as much silver with those guys. And OC Stacker will buy all your sterling. He just doesn't know that he's not going to be able to sell it for 4 months. He hasn't gone to the store recently to do that. But at some point, they'll start taking it again, guys. I'm not worried about it. It's just a matter of time. Okay, let's see. COMEX future silver price is $47.51. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that right now, guys. So Space Miner's he's got a formula here. Store 1 ounce of gold for every 100 ounces of silver per person. 1 to 100 emergency, 10 to 1,000 safer. Yeah, that's not bad either. It also depends on where you live. I mean, I'm here in Southern California, and our real estate prices are stupid, crazy high. You can't even buy like a 2-bedroom condo, 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. I think is probably the smallest thing you can buy around here, and that's going to run you like $1.3 million. Okay, it's ridiculous. And you're attached, right? It's not a standalone home. You get a 2-car garage with it and a park, but that's crazy. I mean, I'm guessing some of you guys are in homes that are really nice on acreage, and it's less money than that. And so if you live in a more expensive metro area, you probably need higher numbers than if you live, say, in the Midwest where it's less expensive and you have a paid-off house. You might not need quite as much. Maybe one of these days we'll do something with that. Let's see. Broke Stacker's in the house. How's it going? Yeah, if I can get Silver Eagles within $2 to $3 of, say $3 of or less of a round, I usually go for those. I would keep cash around too. Happy wife, happy life. Way to honor her. Yeah, at least she's come around, man. She's come to the point now where she's like, don't sell the gold and silver. Go, you know, sell something else. JT Coins did a super chat for 99 cents. Thank you. You probably did that like a year ago on this chat. Tim has too much silver. So here's the other thing. If you guys find someone that has too much silver, they may be looking for some cash. You might be able to get a good deal, and you can help them get a little bit more liquid. So Tim, for example, if you're wanting to buy more silver, maybe call Tim up and say, hey, Tim, do you have a lot of silver? Are you trying to get some of it off your hands? You know, what can I buy from you and help you get a little bit more liquid? I'm looking to do it. You know, how much would I need to buy for you to give me a good price on it? You know, you could always do that. Okay, Frank Mons brings up a good point here. This is another reason to always have your tires properly inflated. The amount of silver and gold you have shouldn't exceed the payload of your zombie apocalypse vehicle. Now, I have seen on Instagram the killer zombie apocalypse vehicle. I think it runs like $200 or $300 grand for this truck. But the thing could it's almost a military vehicle. And it has all of these things in case there's a zombie apocalypse and all this other stuff. I'll have to try to find that video and share it someday. But yeah, you know, I'm thinking of that kind of vehicle can probably take a lot of weight. Your little Honda Civic that you're trying to bug out in, it might not be able to take monster boxes and monster boxes of silver. So you got to be careful with that. You might want a little bit more gold if you're worried about that. Let's see. So, Marjorie Bedford, here's my thought on where we see it this December. So first off, I said 4,000 gold, and I think I said $40 silver. We've blown past those. So I'm gonna guess we're probably somewhere closer to like 4,300 bucks on December 31st on gold. It may have gone up higher, but then I think it may dip back down a little bit before the end of the year. A lot of times people sell different assets at the end of the year. Silver, I think we're going to be probably closer to $55 silver on December 31st, maybe as high as 60. I think it's going to go higher, and I think it's going to come back down. Just because it's the end of the year, and then you'll see it go up a little higher. So the other thing to keep in mind, especially with silver, is with India. I work with a lot of people from India. Their marriage time all kicks in the spring. And so they're going to be really trying to get as much silver and gold as they can in the end of the year here. So we may see something completely different than we've had in the past, and it goes a lot higher. That's me being kind of safe. You know, if I went with my gut and said, okay, where do I think it could really go? I think you could see $4,500 gold by the end of the year, and I think you could see $65 to $70 silver, somewhere in that range. I wouldn't count on it. I wouldn't buy because of that. But it might be the reason to think about you know, buying a little bit more frequently if you think the price is going to be higher. I don't think it's going to be $15 for silver, and I don't think it's going to be like $1,500 gold. You know, I don't think that's going to happen. Even with the massive stock market crash, I still don't think we get down to those numbers. Those just seem very drastic. And if we do, I don't know if you're going to find very many people that are willing to sell their metals to you at those prices. Let's say we do have a massive stock market crash, 1929 style. I still think we're going up to $8,000 to $15,000 gold, and I think we're still going up to $300 to $600 silver over the next 5 years. So I really don't think I would be selling at that price. So I think you'd have crazy high premiums. I'm guessing you'll probably, I don't know if you'll ever be able to buy silver below 25 or 30 bucks again. And I'm not sure you're going to be able to buy gold under $2,000 ever again, right? Maybe even $3,000. So I wouldn't count on it. I'm still buying. That's what I'm doing. Let's see. All right, we got another super chat here from STFU, Stack, Silver, PMG. I have some 100s of silver, few ounces of gold. I found an AirTag on my car. I have cameras in and outside of my house. Be cautious, everyone. Yes. So first off, if you're going to store precious metals at your home, I recommend having a defense strategy. I recommend having access to those, and I recommend always watching. I always watch to see if someone's trailing me anytime I go to a coin shop or a coin show. We drive for quite a while, and we don't stop at a gas station. We make sure the car's full of gas, and we are packing, and we are going to drive for like 45 minutes to an hour, and we're not going straight home. And we watch to see if there's any tails on us, things like that. In addition to that, I don't overly worry about things. I try to have a positive attitude and put light and energy around me, and I pray to God to be protected, and I have faith around that, but it doesn't mean that I'm not cautious. 4 dogs can be good security, or they could be really friendly to strangers that show up. So you need the right kind of dogs. But anyway, Frank Mons, thank you for the super chat. $10 is always welcome. Okay, how likely is gold revaluation from this administration? So I think I would give it a higher than 50% probability. Okay, 50% would just mean that it can go either way. I think it's a higher probability that they will do a revaluation, but I believe they need to inflate it higher. I don't think you're going to see them revalue it until it gets somewhere into the $10,000 to $15,000 to $20,000 range on gold. Then I think they look at potentially doing it. The other question is, will they do a confiscation like they have every other time in the past? I don't know. There's not a lot of gold in circulation. but they could do a windfall tax, and you know, they could stop from that. This administration, you're probably less likely to have the gold confiscation versus our previous administration. I think they totally would have done it. So it's hard to say. There are some strategies around that. Pre-33 gold isn't one way to go. But you know, I wouldn't go too crazy unless you really feel convicted in that area, and I wouldn't go too crazy unless you've done your research on it. But with that said, yeah, there could be a revaluation. They can do multiples of them. So far, I've never found any politicians that are looking out to make you rich. And so, you know, all the my Bitcoin friends are still waiting for Trump to go and say, hey, we're going to sell all the gold and buy Bitcoin. They're waiting for that. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Why would you sell an asset you can continue to revalue? That makes no sense. But they thought they were going to get rich and be at 1 million Bitcoin by now. So, you know, don't buy things thinking you're going to get rich off of it. Don't buy silver because you think it's going to 1,000. Don't buy gold because you think it's going to 100,000. You know, don't do things like that. That gets you in trouble. Okay, Jay brings up a good point. I'll hit this real quick, and then, okay, you know what? My phone's going to die, so we're going to have to do this giveaway right now. All right, guys. I'll try to hit this. Let me see if I can screenshot this from Jay on premiums and collectible coins. Okay, so let's do this real quick. We've got 163 people in here real quick. So I am going to hold up a bill, and don't type until I say go, but I'm going to hold up a bill, and whoever's face is on there, you guys, I'm going to pick number 7 that picks the right face. Okay, and then we're going to do a silver giveaway on that. And what we'll do for right now, we're going to keep it simple for right now, guys. I'm going to work on getting some better silver giveaways, but we'll do a silver quarter right now. But get ready. You're going to see the face here. Get ready to put it in. One answer only, and it's going to be number 7. Boom. Who's that? And yeah, there is a name on there, so it's not that hard to guess, except it's backwards. It's not Trump. He does want to be on the money, though, I'll tell you that. He does want to be on there. All right, let's see where we're at for number 7, because my phone's about to die. Send me an email, stackingsurfer@gmail.com, and put in the subject that you won the silver quarter GA. And let me tell you who got it real quick. You guys are cracking me up with some of these answers. Okay. So here we go. We've got, well, and it has to be the 7th correct person, I guess, too. So it's not Jefferson. You guys were trying to guess what I was going to pull up. Okay, so we've got the first Franklin is Found Treasures. The second Franklin is Dennis Snyder. The third Franklin is Steve Bassett. The fourth Franklin is Richie Crash. Did I say 4th, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Sean is number 5. Number 6 is Anita, and that puts GVZ as the winner. So congratulations, and send me an email, and I'll make sure I get that off to you. And then I'll try to answer that other question real quick. So here's the deal. Coins that are more rare, like a Spider-Man coin that they don't make a whole lot of, like a 14,000 mint, and you get it graded, or you get an error coin, those can be really fun coins to have, and they can have some great value for the time that coin's hot. And then a lot of times they kind of get locked in and they stay there. And so when silver was around 22 to 25 bucks, those Spider-Man coins were going for as high as $200. Then we saw them come all the way down to $100 premium. You know, right now they may be going for 80 to 100 bucks, even though silver's gone up. Be very careful buying too much of that stuff. It's one of the reasons I started the channel. I own too much of that crap, and I don't know if I'm even going to be able to move it, because now when I look at it on eBay, and by the time I got to pay taxes on the sell with accounting and all that stuff, it's kind of chalked up to a lesson learned, and I've got some cool coins. Things that do have a higher premium, where there's still a good value in them and there's still enough of a spread, then it's worth doing it. But I'm pretty much done buying anything I'm going to try to make money off of, or you know, thinking it's just going to go up in value big time. So I would be very careful with buying something that is much more than a Silver Eagle price, unless it's something you really have. And I'd be leery about collecting sets, because I tried to create sets. People don't want sets, they want the hunt. So you're going to get less money selling a whole set. It just isn't that great. And a lot of that hype came from a lot of the YouTube channels on here that were doing coin auctions. And I got kind of caught up in that at first years ago when I was doing it. And then I started realizing, oh, these don't just keep going up in value, they get locked in. Those coins are great when prices are going down. They're not great when prices are going up. So you got to be careful. You may be stuck in a coin that you paid a lot of money for. It's okay. You know, if you can sell it, fine. If not, hold on to it. You know, it's not worth taking a cool coin and selling it or trading it in for a round. I wouldn't do that. You know, if it's a cool coin, it's a cool coin. So that's always good. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We'll do some more live streams. I'm going to have a couple quick live streams tomorrow to show you guys the crowd at Disneyland and help you understand my inflation indicator, not inflation, sorry, my recession indicators of Disney. And we'll have some fun with that. If you have any other questions, you can always find me on X. You can find me on Instagram. You can send me an email. I'll do my best to get to you guys on that. I'm pretty busy, so if I'm not getting back to you, try a few times, and I'll do my best, but it can get difficult. I need to start getting sleep again because my days are just crazy busy. But we're down to 2%. It's going to kick us off any second now. So thank you guys. Keep on stacking and build a strategy. Stick to it. Do not FOMO, but know that urgency is there. Okay, we're no longer in the time where things aren't going to happen. We're in the time where things are starting to happen. You know, get prepared. So if you're prepared, you won't fear. And until next time, peace out. Thanks, everybody.